Hello and welcome to SoCal Prep Report. I'm your host, Randy Rosenblum. I'll be joined momentarily by Tarek Fattal of the Daily News, who's remote tonight. He was out at a nice high school basketball game in the Valley, and I'm sure Tarek will tell us about that. Of course, this is a night where Baker Mayfield of the Rams had an unbelievable comeback and throws a touchdown to Van Jefferson to win the football game against the Raiders 17-16. But we're going to talk not about the NFL. We're going to talk about prep football a lot throughout this show. We're also going to talk about a championship volleyball team from Granada Hills. Their head coach, Tom Harp, guided the squad, the Highlanders, to the city title, and he's bringing along his fine outside hitter. She'll be on the program as well, Hannah Bernstein. But we now bring in Tarek Fattal, sitting comfortably in a chair in the San Fernando Valley after watching a true battle of Titans.
So comfy.
Yeah, it is comfy, but you saw two outstanding freshman basketball players tonight, did you not?
Yeah, it's always fun when we talk about freshmen, right? And Dick Vitale always calls them the diaper dandies. It is fun to see young players, whatever sport it may be, in their debut weeks and see what kind of impact they have for their team. So tonight I watched Crespi's Joe Sterling take on Elijah Arenas from Chatsworth, two freshman basketball guards, and obviously Arenas, that's the son of Gilbert Arenas. Joe Sterling had 21, and Gilbert Arenas' son Elijah had 19. Chatsworth won by 30. But it's always fun to see two really good young players go head-to-head.
Really is. But let's talk football. We're going to show the scores from the regional bowl games. We're going to start with a downer for Downey. Downey played Mater Dei, not the one from Santa Ana. Mater Dei Catholic of San Diego. What's the downer here for Downey is they had a 21-0 lead, Tarek, and they end up losing the game 22-21.
Yeah, you gotta finish games. I'm sure any coach would agree with that. But if I'm not mistaken, San Diego has 3 teams in state finals, and it might be a section record. So maybe a year of destiny for the San Diego section.
All right, the next game we want to check out, and we're going to move through these pretty quickly, then we'll get to our guests, is we talked about Lancaster throughout the season, but they fell short. They had a great year. They'd never gotten this far, and they lost to a classical academy team that has a player by the name of Life Pollard, who's rushed for over 1,300 yards and 21 touchdowns this year. So classical academy indeed still has life.
Yeah, again, Lancaster, it was a great season for them. They had never been to a CIF final before in their history, a section final that is, so they end up winning that, and they get to the regional bowl game. It's not rare to see teams that reach a sectional final for the first time come up a little short. They've just never been there before. They win, and then they kind of think, oh, man, we play this extra game, and you end up falling. So good for Lancaster, great season.
Next one is Northwood over Kennedy of Delano 10-7. That team out of Irvine's won a couple section titles in a row. After that, I do want to talk about Muir out of Pasadena. Muir has a terrific team over the years. They've won 5 CIF championships over those years. They knocked off Palo Verde Valley, and they won out of Blythe, 33-7. A big win there for Muir.
Yeah, Muir out of the Pacific League. It's just one of these teams, again, where you find a way. I think they finished behind teams like Pasadena and I think maybe even Burroughs and Burbank, but they found a way to get into the playoffs, and they make their way to the state final. Good for them.
San Jacinto over University City. They had a huge win there. Big scoring night, 48-45. Then we move ahead to Lincoln and San Diego. Sierra Canyon game. This was a shocker to many. You thought Sierra Canyon would win. You were there. But it was a big win indeed for Lincoln of San Diego over Sierra Canyon. Of course, Lincoln has Roderick Robinson, the great running back, who's on his way to Georgia.
Yeah, he was every bit as advertised. Big, strong, elusive. And the game was close. At halftime, I think it was only a 3-point game or maybe a 1-score game, and then Inglewood just took advantage. And I think Sierra Canyon really just John Ellinghaus actually said it best. The big momentum swing for Inglewood, and Sierra Canyon, he said, let go of the rope, and just that's it. Couldn't catch it again and catch up, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah, it was a big win for Lincoln. They won that football game handily, 37-14. to 14. Not a shock that they won it particularly, but the fact that they won it by that margin is really the most astounding aspect of the game.
Well, the other thing that I think most people in the Valley, it was hard for people in the Valley to wrap their head around the fact that that Lincoln team had lost to Alamany earlier in the year, Randy. And I think that's because Lincoln didn't have a quarterback and there was a couple other things. But, Alamany's a team that only won 3 games. So you're thinking, and Sierra Canyon beat them like 41-0 or something. So you're thinking, how can this Lincoln team come in and beat Sierra Canyon? And it's just like Sierra Canyon, Lincoln was a different team at the end of the year, and kudos to them. They'll play for a CIF state title.
Well, Granada Hills has been the same team all through the year, running the football. They have not completed a pass. They beat Laguna Beach 56-55. Dejon Stanley, 273 yards and 4 touchdowns. Let's move ahead. We got some games to go through. Liberty of Bakersfield all over Yorba Linda. Yorba Linda had a tremendous year. This is their first loss. Bakersfield squad from Liberty, they really have a lot of athletic talent. Kennedy over San Gabriel. Of course, Kennedy out of the city section, their first ever LA City section title, but San Gabriel a little bit more physical, scored too many points, and won that one. Let's move ahead one more time to Crenshaw over Whittier Christian. This is an unbelievable achievement, I believe, for Crenshaw, Tarek. They have had a wonderful year after starting the season 1-6.
Yeah, speed kills. And Coach Harp will tell you that. He coached football for a long time, and we'll talk to him a little later. But that was probably the difference here. Whittier Christian probably hadn't seen athletes like they had saw against Crenshaw all weekend, all year long, and that's probably was the huge difference. Great season though for Coach Manriquez and Whittier Christian, right? I mean, he was on the guest on the show, and Randy, I know you're a fan and of Coach Manriquez. Kudos to them, and good luck to Crenshaw in the state final.
Yeah, he did a terrific job there at Whittier Christian. Donce Lewis, the quarterback of Crenshaw, is really good. So is Andrew Wynn, the running back. He is outstanding. Our next football game we want to talk about is Shafter getting by Walnut. They won that game 20-16. A nice win there for Shafter. Next score, Etiwanda and Granite Hills. Granite Hills really ran it up. They had a great offensive night and won handily 41-21. Laguna Hills and Birmingham, Tarek. Birmingham, a great effort from the city section, but they just could not slow down the running game of Laguna Hills, and they won the football game, did Laguna Hills, 35-28. Troy Liegber, 121 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, Laguna Hills was a team that had beaten Golden Valley in the sectional final, and again, now they're playing for a state final. I know one quick ad on Etiwanda. I don't know if you remember, but they were down something crazy like 31-10 to St. Francis in the Division 5 CIF Southern Section final and came back and won the game. So I don't know if they had much gas in the tank left, and a good season for them as well as they go down in the regional bowl game.
And really, when you think about it, it's about winning your divisional championship, your second
Correct.
title. So, for a lot of these teams, it's not as important to win a regional bowl. It's great, don't get me wrong, but it's about winning your section title. Now, for teams like St. John Bosco or a Mater Dei, they have higher aspirations, winning the whole state championship, but that's not always realistic for every team. What is realistic is Granada Hills football and volleyball. Their girls volleyball team won the section title. Their head coach is a legendary guy. He's been around for a long time. Tom Harp will bring him in right now, and also Hannah Bernstein, the outstanding outside hitter. Tarek, you've seen these Granada Hills Highlanders. You're in the Valley, but we're looking at a tandem there that had a phenomenal year. Coach and Hannah, congratulations on another Highlander LA City Section Open Division Championship. Coach, talk about your team.
Well, it was a challenging year in a lot of ways, but, winning that championship at the end really, validated all our efforts. I mean, throughout the year, we had a lot of injuries and illnesses, and it presented a lot of, like I said, challenges for us. But, the team really worked hard together. They hung in there, and, it paid off at the end.
Hannah, I know you've been to city championship matches before and didn't quite get over the hump, but now to win the city championship as a senior, what did it mean to you to finally get over that hump and win a city title?
Well, it absolutely meant the most to me because for the last 2 years we've gotten second place in city. So to win first place, especially for my senior year, it really shows like what I can accomplish for volleyball.
Well, you did a great job, and I know Tarek has some thoughts as well. A couple questions for each of you. Tarek?
Coach, you've been coaching high school athletes for a long time. It was actually a pleasure catching up with you. I went to a football game. Granada played Eagle Rock, and I got to catch up with Tom Harp on some of the great Granada Hills football players that have come and gone. And Coach, I always want to ask someone that's been around as long as you have, what is the biggest difference between coaching a student athlete in high school, let's say, in the late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, compared to that student athlete that's walking in the gym here in, 2020, 2021, 2022?
Well, everybody expects me to say there's a big difference, but at least with the students that I've coached, they still respond, and if you try to motivate them, they'll respond. And, I don't see that much difference, but, I guess other people think so. But, at my end, it's pretty close to the same.
I mean, would you say that there's more distractions though, Coach? The cell phones, the social media. Do you feel like you got to channel more focus with today's athletes than in the past?
Well, yeah, I would say nowadays it's a lot more complicated. A lot more distractions, a lot more going on, on a daily basis where, it just makes it tougher to, bring everything together. But, if you do it right, the kids still try hard, and it's a pleasure.
Hannah, I want to ask you
Randy?
about this bobblehead doll that you came up with your teammates. You got a bobblehead of your coach, Tom Harp, and you had your banquet the other night, representing volleyball and winning the championship. How'd the idea of the bobblehead come about, and how did the coach react when you gave him the bobblehead?
Well, the bobblehead was just a silly final gift to give to Harp for the banquet. And I think Harp responded surprised, to say the least. But I think he liked it. You liked it, right, Harp?
Yeah, it was nice. It was unique, and it actually looked like me, I think. So, it was a unique gift that, I really appreciated.
I mean, did that mean as much to you as winning a championship? You've won so many titles over the years. What did it mean to get a bobblehead doll from your team, Coach?
Well, nothing's as special as getting the championship, but, they have bobbleheads for Dodgers and the pros, so made me feel like I was doing something right.
Well, you've done a lot of things right. Hannah, what makes this guy so good? I find it interesting that you call him a Harp. And that tells me he's cool with the players, and you guys got a very good working relationship. Rather than coach, you're calling him by his last name. But what's he like, and what's his magic? This is a guy that's won 13 volleyball championships between the boys and the girls. He's got a soccer team. At one point, he got him into the finals. He's won a championship as a co-coach with the football team. What makes this guy a solid, good, all-around coach?
I would have to say that he really cares about the team and all the players, and really just his motivation to win every point in every match and get us to the city championship makes him a really good coach, because it motivates all our players. And me especially, I would definitely say, the desire to win, definitely part of it comes from Harp pushing us.
Did I just say, did we pop in the bobblehead? Did that go on the air? Did we see
Yes.
that bobblehead? There it is. Wow. He looks so young there. That's a great shot of the coach. You have
Yeah,
a
I'm
clipboard
slim,
and the
too.
whole thing.
Yeah, they did a great job of that.
That's really
I
good.
wanted to ask Hannah, what was it like to play the championship game I'll always call it the Matadome. It's called something else now. But to play the championship game in a really great venue, a college venue, so to speak, at CSUN, what was that like playing in that arena and winning it there?
That was certainly an experience. I thought that it made the winning the whole city championship a lot more special. It was in a special court and arena, I guess, and it. I thought it was much more
You like that, huh? That's
important.
the point. This is match point. And it went out,
Bedlam in Northridge.
and that's against your rival Taft, right?
That's a great crowd too there.
Right. I would definitely say our fans and everyone cheering on either the sidelines or on the benches, it definitely helps me as a player get motivated and play my best.
Coach,
Playing it at Northridge, really elevated the intensity level and the excitement, and it allowed the fans to come from both schools. And we had a couple battles there a few years ago with the boys against Taft, so it just makes it a special event rather than just go playing at a high school for the championship.
It really does. I do want to move off of volleyball for just an instant and talk about the Granada Hills football team, because they've won a city championship. They have a chance at a state title. And Tom, I know you coached football. Could you ever imagine a football team going this deep into a season and not completing a pass? They've thrown 7 passes this year. That's a great tribute to DeJohn Stanley Brooks, Bucky Brooks, the head coach, to be able to run the football that effectively. But that's hard to imagine, right? No completions and double-digit number of games.
Especially, the stadium's named after John Elway, and so he's known for the passing. And when I coached, we threw the ball, and part of it is for us to be successful, we had to throw the ball because these teams were so big and so fast. But Granada's got it down now, and once DeJohn Stanley gets a hole, he's gone, because his speed is probably faster than any running back Granada's ever had. And he's broken all the rushing records. I think he's broken all the scoring records, at Granada too. So, they're just doing a fantastic job.
Well, guys, congratulations on the championship. Hannah, good luck. I know you haven't selected a college yet, but if you play college volleyball, we wish you the best. You seem to be a delightful young lady. Congratulations. You've won a number of awards, West Valley League Player of the Year, All-City, all those good things. So congratulations on your accolades and the title. And Coach Harp, glad to finally get you on some TV interviews. You're well-deserving of those, and you've done a phenomenal job over the years at Granada Hills in a plethora of different sports. And thanks for coming aboard on SoCal Prep Report.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right.
Thank you.
Great championship team out of the West Valley, the Granada Hills Highlanders. We're going to step out. We're going to take a break, and we'll come back with our top 10s, our Pacific Surfliner top 10s for the girls teams and the boys teams in basketball. That's next on SoCal Prep Report.
California has always been a land of discovery. From historic gems to iconic beaches to top attractions. Let the Amtrak Pacific Surfliner be part of your journey as you explore more of the place we call home. Reconnect with the communities you love most, with the people you love most. Isn't it time you rediscovered Southern California?
And welcome back to SoCal Prep Report. It's time for our Pacific Surfliner top 10 girls and boys basketball teams. This is a new feature. We're going to do it every week. We thank our friends at Pacific Surfliner. We start with the ladies, and Tarek will certainly chime in here as well. With Sierra Canyon and the great star Juju Watkins, obviously the best team in California last year. They won the championship a year ago. Unquestionably the team to beat this year. Sierra Canyon, the Trailblazers, a wonderful, wonderful basketball team. Number 2 would
Yeah,
be
I think
Etowanda.
that's
Oh,
what
there you go. I didn't
there's
see
a
it.
common
Okay.
denominator. I know we'll get to the boys here in a second, but there is a common denominator with the boys and the girls when it comes to the landscape of Southern California high school basketball. It's who can beat the top team. For the girls, it's 100,000%. Who's going to stop Juju Watkins? And can Sierra Canyon be beat? That is literally the name of the game this season for girls. And for boys, it's the same question for Corona Centennial. We'll get to that in a second. But the team that might give Sierra Canyon a good game, I don't see them beating Sierra Canyon, but Sierra Canyon is now in the Mission League, and Chaminade is very strong and has a deep team. Modern Day, Etowanda, of course. All these teams here are very, very talented, but Chaminade just beat Windward, just beat Westlake, previously unbeaten. So Chaminade is kind of creeping up the table here in the girls' rankings.
And Etowanda had a great, great team last year, and they're the one team up on that board that really has a shot at Sierra Canyon, I believe, at the end of the year. Also, at the back end there, Westchester out of the city. We got them in the top 10. They're undefeated. A little later in the year, they'll get Long Beach Poly. That'll be a great test for the Comets, but Westchester out of the city, a very good team. Let's turn our attention to the guys, our Pacific Surfliner boys basketball top 10. There it is. There's that one team on top that is going to be tough to beat again, Corona Centennial.
Yeah, Jared McCain is the guy going to Duke, and Devin Williams is going to UCLA, and Aaron McBride's going to LMU. And, let's not forget, Corona Centennial now has the services of one Mikey Price. Remember that, Randy? He transferred from Sierra Canyon. So really, really big-time player. Because remember, Corona Centennial lost Donovan Dent, who's arguably maybe the best player in SoCal. And now he's in New Mexico. So Mike Price gets to step in and fill that role. So Corona Centennial will be very hard to beat. But, of course, the usual suspects, Harvard Westlake, Notre Dame, Sierra Canyon, all in the Mission League. And St. Bernard, I'm going to check them out tomorrow night at the Beverly Hills tournament. I'm going to go with St. Bernard versus Campbell Hall and check them out. So, and LZ Harrington, very good sophomore at St. John Bosco. Just so much talent here on this list.
Yeah, I saw Harrington last year. UCLA has their hooks into him already. He's a young
they do.
Freshman last year. The Bruins are very much interested in LZ. He's a very good 6'3", 6'4" guard who can really score the ball. Really a talented kid. And I like Bishop Montgomery's team. They're solid every year. We saw them a little bit last year, and I think they're a dangerous team. West Ranch has got transfers and talent as well. So that's our Pacific Surfliner boys basketball top 10. Tark, I think we should talk about all these state regional games. What do you think?
Yeah, we can try. I'm only going to know about half the teams, but let's give it a whirl.
I guess we're going to start with a pretty big football game here. Sarah of San Mateo, 13-0. That is Tom Brady's old school. Against St. John Bosco, 12-1, which knocked off Mater Dei. Sarah went to the finals last year and lost to Mater Dei in the Open Division, but Sarah's more talented. Their quarterback is very, very good. He can throw the football. He's a 6'4" kid who's got a strong arm, and a kid by the name of Smith, and he can really deliver it. St. John Bosco has got Division I athletes all over the year. All over the field. How do you see this one this year?
I mean, it seems that every time the winner of the South plays in the state championship, they win the state championship. I just don't think there's anyone that could beat St. John Bosco. If there was, it was a team called Mater Dei, and that happened a couple of weeks ago at the Rose Bowl, and St. John Bosco beat the Monarchs and sent Rollinson into the sunset. So I just don't see Bosco losing. Give me the Braves.
Yeah, and Jason Negro does a tremendous job with St. John Bosco, and I think he'll have them ready to go, even though they've had a bye week since they won the CIF Championship. San Jacinto at Grant on Saturday. San Jacinto scores a lot of points. I don't know much about Grant up north. Both teams with terrific records, so we'll move through that one. But San Jacinto, a big-time scoring football team. Laguna Hills and Bellarmine. Bellarmine of San Jose, a storied program. Laguna Hills has Troy Liegber, who's approaching 2,500 yards on the ground. I don't know. Bellarmine's got a great tradition, Tarek.
Yeah, maybe the more battle-tested team in this matchup, Bellarmine, maybe they, 8-6. That means that they've had some ups and downs, right? And they've certainly taken their lumps and learned from them. And here they are, maybe playing the best football of the whole weekend, the whole year. So maybe Bellarmine is the team of destiny there in that game, but Laguna Hills certainly has earned the right. So, a toss-up for me. I'm not exactly sure who I would pick in that one.
The next one is Northwood of Irvine against Escalon Saturday night. That Northwood squad has won a couple CIF championships in a row. In the 4A, familiar team that we're going to talk about, Granada Hills at San Marin. Can they go through the whole year and win a state championship, the Highlanders, without completing a pass?
I will say I was very shocked to see that Granada Hills won their regional game. That was their first win over a Southern Section team last weekend all year long. And so it just goes to show you, man, you got a good scheme, you got boys that are ready to execute, and you can win a game. So not only did the win obviously get them to the state championship, but I think that win might have really injected even more belief that they can win the state championship. They won't just be happy to get there. You see what I'm saying, Randy? And I think there's more confidence flying through that Highlander team. I know they leave tomorrow morning. They're going to get up there early, kind of chill Friday night, sleep over, wake up, get a good breakfast, and just have as normal of a game day as possible. That's what Bucky Brooks told me, the coach. So give me the Highlanders. I think that's a game they're gonna come home. Nice bus ride home after a state championship, and I hope that's the case because Dijon Stanley's had a great year.
Yeah, Muir's going to play for a state championship as well. They've won 9 games, lost 6, but they're coming on. You can see their opponents 12-2. I don't know much about them. In the 6AA, it's Classical Academy on the road. They're a team that's really come on of late, 11-3, led by Life Pollard. I mentioned him before, over 1,300 yards on the ground. We have San Gabriel at Atascadero. That appears to be a well-balanced game. That could go either way. Of course, San Gabriel knocked off Kennedy from the city section of Granada Hills. And the last game we want to talk about, Crenshaw in the 7A. There are the Cougars on a 7-game winning streak, going up to San Francisco to play Lincoln. 2 fabled programs in lower division now. Crenshaw, because of their enrollment, have dropped. But Robert Garrett, their head coach, like Tom Harp, has had an unbelievable career.
What a story, and that's what I'm rooting for here. I hope Crenshaw can get up for the game and have more success. It's a 1 o'clock kick on a Saturday. That's pretty cool. And, man, I just hope they can pull it off. Give me Crenshaw. Give me the story. Give me some city section love there. And Crenshaw comes home with a state title.
Yeah, if they can get Andrew Wynn going on the ground, he's a terrific running back for the Cougars. They have a real shot. All right, as always, when we complete these shows, I asked Tark where he's going tomorrow, but I think you gave me a hint. You're going to a basketball tournament tomorrow night?
Correct. I'll be at Beverly Hills. That's it, man. Football is over for Tarek Fattel. It's done. It's over. No more Friday night football. As much as I love it, it's on to basketball season. So tomorrow I will be at Campbell Hall, where the Holidays went, Aaron, Justin, and Drew, and they're gonna play St. Bernard in the Beverly Hills semifinal. And that's a really good team, obviously, in our top 10, number 9, if I'm not mistaken. Right. So it should be a good one.
And you got an assignment on Saturday as well, right? You're going to be out at a game Saturday?
So Saturday, I'll be getting a little college hoops in. As for those that don't know, I also cover the UCLA men's basketball team. They tip off at noon in Pauley Pavilion on Saturday, and that's where I'll be covering some UCLA hoops.
Well, that's exciting. How's Amari Bailey, the former Sierra Canyon player, doing as a freshman? I see he's scoring some points.
2-time back-to-back freshman of the week, Pac-12 winner. So playing really well, scoring points, passing the ball, and helped the Bruins start off 2-0 in Pac-12 play. They went up and beat Stanford, and then they came home and beat Oregon. Oregon, that ain't no slouch team right there, Randy. So good wins for the Bruins, and I believe they're 7-2, 8-2. Only 2 losses were in Las Vegas a couple weeks ago, so they're rolling, and Amari Bailey's playing very well.
All right, on a night where Baker Mayfield is the hero for the Rams, Tark, you're always my hero, and we will see you on set here next Thursday night. You have a great evening, and thanks for your input. As always, the great writer from the Daily News, my co-host, Tarek Fattal. That's going to wrap it up. We want to thank Hannah Bernstein, the outside hitter from Granada Hills, and the fine coach of the Highlanders, Tom Harp of the Highlanders. Of course, they won the city championship in girls volleyball. So for Tarek and our entire LA 36 crew, I'm Randy Rosenbaum. We'll see you next Thursday night, live at 9 o'clock, right here on SoCal Prep Report. Good night, everybody.